And those tributes continue to pour in for Zolani Tete. As we indicated, he was shot dead outside his home in Mdantsane. And certainly indicated he was due to make a comeback, to the ring after serving that a 4-year doping ban. And you would know, of course, he's a former IBF junior bantamweight and WBO bantamweight world champion. Let's go virtually now and be joined by one of his close friends, Andile Sidinile. Let's reflect on his life. But Andile, thank you so much for your time. And, condolences to all of you, for such a tragic and a sudden loss. I think it's just come as a shock to everyone. The heinous nature of this crime of somebody who still had so much to give to his community, first of all, and to the boxing fraternity. Condolences, Budwam. Talk to us about, your fondest memories of Zolani and, how he then just ascended to such greatness.
Yeah, good morning to you, Susan, and your viewers. To say it's a shock, it's an understatement. After receiving a call from his manager, Andile Sidinile, yesterday, I couldn't utter a word that would define how I feel. But I'm sure today or this morning I've somewhat recovered. You see, Zolani was identified as a gem and as a star, very young age. And I see that people are saying that he's a 2-time world champion. No. Zolani is a 3-time world champion. At 19, he won what is called the WBF world title, a fight that was promoted by the late Mzimguni then at Orient Theatre.
In
He was one of the best in this area.
Oh, yes, but Andile, I mean, talk to us about his passion. A little bit earlier on, we were speaking to others who were reflecting on his life. He seemed to have a great sense of community and also, a great belief in his abilities to ascend to, the highest level in boxing and greatly respected. You can see from the tributes that are being poured, that are pouring in, that there were so many hopes still for Zolani, so many.
Oh yes, Zolani started at a very young age to train fellow boxers, and he would from time to time do community work in Mdantsane. But a lot of people do not know that Zolani was one of the best choristers. He was in the church choir, very much like music, kakul.
Yes.
And those that were fortunate enough to have access to his status phone, and most of the time, instead of posting boxing, he would post ngomculo and so on and so on. Him and his brother, Umagazole, were part of the choir. In fact, his brother Umagazole is now lecturing umculo at one of the universities in the Eastern Cape. So very much passionate about umculo, but also a church goer, Zolani, and I think he took it from his family.
And I was actually hearing, Andile, from one of the boxing writers at the Daily Dispatch. He was talking exactly a bit about that. I think he had actually won something in the choral fraternity just recently. Yeah. So I'm amazed at this man of so many talents, because obviously uyidibanisa kanjani boxing uphinde ke ngoku ube chorister. So I mean, clearly he was a man of many talents. He loved all the things that he was doing. He seemed to have achieved just so much.
Oh yes, he did. Excuse me, he did. If you go to a gym in a gym, Zolani, there'll be music playing in the background, whatever genre, which would determine how he feels at the time.
Yeah.
So I think what kept him going was music. And when he was alone, he would sing. And he was a tenor, very good tenor, I must say. And his manager, Umla, had trust Kuzolani. That Uzolani, even before him being banned for 4 years, which was very much questionable, Uzolani was training boxers. And some of the boxers that are good in East London were trained by Uzolani, but he was not the person who'd be in the forefront and get into the ring, to say that he trained that boxer. He would be in the background and shout instructions from the floor. So a lot of boxers that were trained by him, it's a loss to them. And this strategy, in fact, reminded me of what happened to one of my boxers who was trained by Uzolani, Upebili Yachels, who was killed in the similar fashion, but probably for different reasons. I don't know.
I mean, what now, especially for a community like Mdantsane, where we know that, boxing, is a love for so many youngsters and many looking up to, a boxing great such as, Zolani. What do we take from him? What do we take from him as community? What do we take from him as a fraternity? I guess so that, one could sort of try to make sense of this tragedy. Of course, law enforcement agencies are going to do their job, but this is absolutely devastating. What do we take from his life?
Yeah, I think what the first point will be to have faith and trust in the law enforcement agencies that they will do their work. That's the first one. The second one, I think our youth, they need to learn from him in terms of being disciplined in your trade. Uzolani was very disciplined in his trade. He never went to a fight unprepared. And Uzolani, whenever he was preparing for a fight, he would force his manager, Umlau Tengven, that he wants to go on camp, and they would spend, thousands and thousands of friends preparing. So that's the commitment that can be matched through discipline. So these young boys, they need to learn from him in any way. I mean, the way he was living, very clean, church going, and also respected his parents and his family.
Andile, thank you so much, and condolences once again to all of you on this tragic passing. Andile Sidinile, who is a friend to the late Zolani Tete. Thank you so much for taking time. I know it's very difficult, all of this just happening a couple of hours ago. Thank you for taking time to speak to us here on SABC News. Siyabulela.